Hello, everyone. Welcome to another installment of Tales from the Forlorn Dopes. I am one of your co-hosts, Cybersmily.
Greetings, programs. I am the other co-host, Wisdom. Uh,
Yes? Did I lose you?
I from the various corners of the earth, and we've got good things today. The main thing we've got is a review of Shadow Scar, our Talsorian's latest product line.
Yes, so it's a little bit
It's
of a divergent from Cyberpunk, but I
yeah,
think it definitely can integrate into Cyberpunk.
yeah. We support all things our Talsorian, and this is Cody Pondsmith's brainchild. So it's nice to
Yes.
see him jumping fully into the pool, as it were.
So before we start, just go over some kind of Cyberpunk news. I don't have too much for this particular instance, so we'll just get right through it. So, CDBR, I believe this week, announced a arcade game shooter. So it's a cabinet with you can put yourself grab a gun that's on the console and start shooting. I have
Hmm.
not looked into any of the prices. I know there's some videos out there of people playing the game. I have not played the game. I don't know
I didn't hear
where.
about it until you just mentioned it. Like, I didn't know people still made like arcade games.
Well, so like Dave and Buster's. I don't know if that's still a thing, but that place usually
I
has
mean,
video
sure, there's a
games.
Dave and Buster's, but I've never been in one. I've just always assumed that they were retro arcades and just had shit from back in the day. I didn't
Yeah.
know they were just making stuff.
Well, apparently CDPR is paying homage to the 80s, which the Pondsmith universe and I came out of. Yeah, so that's there. I assume you can buy your own. Um, I have no clue how much they would cost. Probably as much as a car. Probably less. Shipping is probably going to cost about the amount of a car. And of course, depending on where you are in the world, God only knows what tariffs you have to pay nowadays.
I mean, what's the title of it?
Cyberpunk 2077 shooter?
Really? So it's a cyberpunk game.
Yeah, it is a cyberpunk game.
Oh, apparently they've got a few arcade style games within their cyberpunk. Oh no, never mind. That's in the game.
Yeah, that's in the game. This is actually a cabinet you can buy.
Crazy. I
Cabin.
am not finding anything about it at all.
I could have sworn in-home full-size arcade or other crap. I could have sworn I saw it. Maybe I'm. Yeah, it was
No, sir, you sure you didn't see like just somebody who built their own like
themed
arcade
arcade game
cabinet for it?
cabinet. Here we go. Cyberpunk 2000. I don't know if it's a home. Great, but I don't know. So I
Weird.
see a picture of it. It's on one of the underneath Cyberpunk game Reddit. Oh, that's 2 years ago. No, this is more recent. This was actually from CDPR. Let me look for that. Anyways, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was drunk. Maybe it was blame it on Paris.
You blame it on
Why did
Rio.
I see?
Haha.
Why did I see? Maybe I am going crazy. But I could have sworn it was recently. I thought it was from CDPR's account that they posted it on Facebook, not Facebook, Twitter.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything on their blog about it, but
Yeah, and no one
no.
saw it in Reddit. Anyways,
Yeah.
maybe I'm just.
Anyways,
It's a possibility it's out there. Um, but I heard from other different posts. So maybe go. I would say go do the research, figure it out. I read it and it was cromulent. Um, but again, I am a bourbon drinker. There'd been a few old fashions I was in, or I was doom scrolling on Reddit. So yeah, there's that possibility. For media in the cyberpunk world, the only thing I think is the Electric State that came out, which is running on Netflix. So that's currently out there. There was a post from the person who's playing 3 Jane for Neuromancer about how she was shocked at all the sets and the costuming that they're using, and I guess they're filming currently in Tokyo.
Oh shit!
Yeah, which is fitting.
Like actual filming news. That's very encouraging.
Yeah, and so there is an IMDb page for it. They have the who's playing Chase, who's playing Molly, who's playing Armitage, which
Who's playing Molly? Because
she's not very famous actress, I'm afraid. The guy who's playing Chase, he was in one of the Harry Potter movies, or multiple Harry Potter movies, the early ones with the creatures.
Oh,
okay. Christ, my mind is going. 1 second, and I will get the current list. But Mark Strong is Armitage, which I think is one of the best choices. If you don't know who Mark Strong is, he is a character actor that's been in a lot of things. He was the villain from Shazam. I don't know why I think of that immediately. He was in Rockalbelly? No. What was the movie from... Oh, why can't I freaking... his name? Guy Pearce. Not Guy Pearce. Who's the one who did Lock, Stock, and Barrel? And Smoking Barrels?
Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie, right. So Guy Ritchie did Rocka something, and Mark Strong was in that. He's played kind of villains in a lot of different things, kind of side characters. You would know him if you saw him.
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. He's been in a lot.
Peter,
and I think he'll do a very good job.
Yeah, Peter Sarsgaard is John Ashpool, which
I just asked about Molly.
Molly is Brianna Middleton. So I don't think she's, like I said, she hasn't been in a lot. She was in The Inheritance.
I don't know that she's going to be able to top Dynamite, because Dynamite is my goddess. I gotta say, she's.
Yeah, I mean, you never know, right? I mean, I don't see Calum Turner, who is playing Chase. It's the man. He was in quite a few things. He was in Master of Air, Fantastic Beasts. Was he in Assassin's Creed? So he hasn't really been in too much. Again, the only, I think, really, well, Peter Sarsgaard. He's been in quite a few. Joseph Lee is playing Hido. Clemens Posey playing Maria France Tesser. Okay. So I don't know who's playing 3 Jane. That was 3 Jane. Why are they playing... She playing Clemens? Because Clemens is dead in Neuromancer. She committed suicide a while before this story.
Flashback, I imagine.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Again, I don't know how they're structuring it. If this is gonna, if they're looking to
I
do
mean,
multiple
they've got a
seasons.
lot to work with, and I don't know. Like, they're gonna have to at least mention some of the Burning
Right.
Chrome stuff.
Um,
Uh,
Marlon
'Cause
Mollison
Molly
is
comes
playing.
straight out of Johnny Mnemonic,
Yeah.
so
Gary. Who is Gary Ridgewell? Ridgewell was the fixer who was. I think Ridgewell was maybe in that first scene with when Chase is introduced, shaking Chase down. Could be wrong.
yeah, I think you're right. It's been
I want
it's
to
been a
know.
while since I read Neuromancer.
Yeah, I want to know who's playing the Finn. They have yet to announce that. I liked Finn as a character. And who was the brain box? Guy's name.
I mean, I don't remember, but really, I want to hear the guy who does the voice of Coach McGurk do that and do his voice.
Coach McGurk.
Yeah, he also does Archer and Bob's Burgers.
Oh, yep. He would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it is filming finally. So we actually might supposedly the series is going to start this year on Apple Plus. So it is moving a lot more than it has in the past several decades in which it has been announced. So really looking forward to this. I know Gibson has been working with it. I don't know if he's a co-writer with the showrunners, but I know he was, at least in the beginning, he was part of it.
Hopefully, he'll have more input on this than with the Peripheral.
Yeah. Interesting. They said Dane DeHaan is joining the cast. This was today. Who is he playing? Is he playing the Finn?
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I could see him playing the Finn. We'll play Peter Riviera. Ah, okay. Oh, yeah, he's going to be a good Peter Riviera. If you don't remember who Peter Riviera is, he was the guy who did Illusions. And he was an evil son of a fucking bitch in the story. He could
I mean, it's got a huge cast.
Yeah. Well, not if you look at MDB or IMDb.
I'm not talking about like famous people doing it. I'm just talking about like the number of characters in Neuromancer that hold relevance is pretty high.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, it was a team of Molly, Case, Armitage, Peter, and the Finn were the five, and then you had like the adversary, which was Ashpool, Tesser, and 3 Jane. Well, then you also had the High Rider, who was kind of helping people. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so. But speaking of Neuromancer, Speaking of Neuromancer, I decided to not reread, but actually re-listen to the audios of the Sprawl series, and still confirms my love of Count Zero. Great book, probably the best out of the just because of the concepts of it. However, Mona Lisa Overdrive, re-listening to that, there are some pretty cringe parts in it. Let's just say it's a little dated, and yeah, leave it at that.
Yeah, leave it at that. That works. Works.
So,
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
it's been pretty sparse otherwise on the media front.
Any
Not a lot
comics?
new has been talked about. Not really. Psycho Squad for Cyberpunk 2077, the Dark Horse line. It's up to issue 2 with issue 3 coming out, I think, next week. I'm kind of behind on my reading this month. I haven't seen a whole lot that I haven't talked about before anyway. That's not like still an ongoing thing that I've been hyping. Yeah, in the comic front, it's as slow as the movie front right now.
Right.
I haven't heard about, other than the Neuromancer stuff. There's nothing new that's been announced that I've seen that we haven't talked about before. So it's a slow month for Cyberpunk media.
Yep. So, last but not least, of course, is Altar Saurian and Cyberpunk Red. They just dropped a DLC.
Like 2 hours ago.
Yeah. So I have yet to read it. I have listened to a bunch of the audio clips so basically this DLC is a 88.9 radio station, Nomad.
Yeah, it's a Nomad radio station, which is freaking awesome. It's something very similar to what I've had going in my games for a while now, just as background like information. I love it. They give you full scripts for what the DJ's saying at any given moment. There are even audio, like he said, there are audio clips, so you can just play those
Yes.
and throw some music on afterwards or whatnot.
And I've listened to quite a few of them, and let's just say Rob Barefoot has a voice for radio. I think he's professionally trained. I believe that he mentioned that. So it definitely comes through. He did a stellar job with the package.
Yeah, I'd like to see a lot more like this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Like a monthly thing of this, I would go ape.
Yes. Yeah, here it is. So on Blue Sky, Palo Sesco, our tactile arcade shooter, Cyberpunk 2077 Turf Wars, was revealed this week at Amusement Expo. Had an awesome time supporting the team at LAI Games, and I hope you will enjoy the arcade spot near you. There is a YouTube.
So we know
So go check out LAI Games on YouTube for the Cyberpunk 2020. Aha! So I wasn't crazy and I wasn't drunk.
All right. Well,
Woohoo!
kudos to you, my friend. Kudos to you. I was starting to look at you like you were a little bit crazy myself.
Yeah. Well, I've always been crazy, so you can't put that past me.
Yeah.
The
of
other
course
thing.
You're crazy. Otherwise, what would you be doing here?
Yeah.
We're
So just an FYI, I am on Blue Sky. I decided to take my dip a toe back into social media. A lot of the other platforms I do not. But one other thing was, I believe Jay Gray mentioned how he was working on or finishing up 2 projects the other day, and he really liked the whole collaboration. So 2 projects in the work. 2 different projects in the work from Artel Saurian. So we can only guess at what those could be.
I imagine it'll be very exciting regardless.
Yes. Well, one of them I'm sure is Night City.
Well, we know that. We know that's coming. And we know there's some unnamed named Nomad Project. Rusted Chrome has been the running name, but we don't know if that's what it's actually going to be. That they keep hinting at, and like the last couple of DLCs have been Nomad centric, so I think that's probably going to be one of the ones announced.
So once all the Nomad stuff comes out, you're gonna start running Cyberpunk Red, right?
Yeah, maybe. I do love me some Nomads.
I think the other project that I would love to see is the High Rider. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Finally get some, and like for me, now that I've been doing a High Rider campaign, I love me some High Riders. Just cause. Yeah, so that's kind of it from kind of official news. If you are over on the Cyberpunk 2020 Reddit channel, there is a user, Kitties and Kit Bashes, who is creating or replicating the 2020 version of Night City in a utility called, let's see if I can get the name of it. It's like City Skylines. And it is freaking massive. If you go to Reddit, he's posted or I should say, they have posted quite a few things, and images, and it is crazy. I don't know if he's borrowing stuff from your amalgamation or that you created.
I've seen that. I've seen what you're talking about. It's very impressive. I don't think he's borrowing anything from me with that. His Night City is much more evenly laid out, there was actually planning behind it.
Yeah.
It also, what he's doing is beautiful. My only complaint is it's too flat.
And too green.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind the green. I mean, it's California.
Well,
there's going to be green,
so
not to the
not too green, too clean.
Oh yeah, very much too clean. It's just, for me, it's just too flat. That's just not what the California coast looks like.
Have you been out there? With the earthquakes and all that, they really don't build too high.
I'm not talking about the buildings. I'm talking about the land.
Oh,
lots
right.
of hills.
Yeah, true. Well, so the peninsula of Night City, just because of the area it's based off of, God only knows how much fill was made to create that space,
That's true enough.
So that area would be flat. Now, if you're looking off into Haywood and Charter Oaks, and those areas, yeah, you would definitely see hills with brown grass, because that's the only thing I remember from being out in California.
2020 era Night City is so heavily based off of San Francisco.
True.
Yeah. Anyway, that's just my mental picture. My belief in this has nothing to do with what this guy's doing. He's doing a great job with what he's doing. I'm very much enjoying watching him work.
Yeah, if you want to see a crazy content creator, or just a creator, go check out.
I thought I was nuts with my map. That dude is next level.
On the Cyberpunk 2020 Reddit, because he is just tackling a humongous thing. So yeah, trying to think, is there anything else that I would like to highlight? I think there's too much else I can highlight. You got anything else?
Well, no. That's about all I've got. like I said, it's been a really slow last couple of weeks, and I've just been running my own real life ragged bullshit between doctor's appointments and all that. Like nothing serious, just it's that time of year where it all piles up.
Oh, I forgot. Next week I am traveling off to Adepticon, in which I will be participating in a Combat Zone Red, or Cyberpunk Red Combat Zone tournament that is being hosted by Monster Fight Club. So I'm going to stop by their booth, check their stuff out, see what new stuff they have planned. I know they've been working on a kind of container city type of set that they're producing. I don't know if it's going to be just STLs or if they're actually going to start having, similar to the containers they have, producing it as a components to use within your own combat zone.
Nice third party production. I'm all about that.
Yeah, so go check out their Discord. They're kind of giving a little bit of updates there. Also on their site, they also have various news items, so that's coming out. I haven't heard too much about the computer game not the computer game, the board game from I forgot their names. I sunk so much money into that freaking game. I should know their name.
Not Monster Fight Club, the other.
No, yeah, it's a new board game based off of 2077. It looks stellar, and it looks like it's a kind of a board game that introduces missions similar to various runs that you would have to Cyberpunk, the game, right? The tabletop game. And they had a GoFundMe that I've been supported, and God only knows what I use to support it. Too much else. Yeah, good thing, but can be annoying when you need to search for something.
Most things are.
Yeah. And my advice to everyone is definitely get a few email addresses for yourselves, and they should all be should be all different purposes. Just saying, especially in this day and age.
It's not bad advice.
Yeah. So it's not a Kickstarter. It's Board Game Geeks. No, maybe it isn't Board Game Geeks. Crap. Anyways, I haven't heard too much news on that. When it's shipping, etc. Once it does, I will definitely give a full review of the game on our cast. So to guys, keep you aware of that. So, without further delay, shall we get into Shadowscar and the starter set that is very graciously provided to us by our Talsorian.
Terabella Pondsmith reached out to me about 2 weeks ago, just before we did the last episode. Asked us to take a look at this, maybe do a review, maybe in the future do a live play or something, possible interviews. But yeah, this is Cody Pondsmith's new setting, complete new franchise for Artal Saurian, Shadowscar. This is very, very pretty.
It is. I was given the PDF.
I was sent the box set, and I'll say right off the bat that this box set is quite possibly the thickest, most fully packed box set I've ever received. Like, this thing is heavy. It doesn't there's not a whole lot of rattle. It's packed pretty thickly. When you open the box, the first thing you notice is those dice that he just showed on the screen. They're specialized dice, but not in a way that it would prevent them from being used in any other game. They're just pretty. I like the colors. I like dice.
Everyone, nice.
Beyond that, behind the dice is a little page of what to expect from the game.
So that's the interest sheet, right?
Sure.
All right. So I will. You talk about what you see in your set, and I will map it to what I got from the PDF set.
All right. This is just a simple one page. The front of it is "Welcome to Shadowscar." It gives you a little bit of what to expect, and on the back, it's got a glossary of terms.
Yes.
Which will probably come in fairly handy.
And let me just say, give you guys full warning. For those who watch a lot of anime, not dubbed, you probably will be able to pronounce a lot of these. For those who are not familiar with the Japanese language, it is a bit of a tongue twister at times. Even me, who has taken a few classes in Japanese, I will butcher the language just because of my American tongue.
All right. Well, the first actual book you get is the system book, and it is 47 pages long. This is a starter set, so it doesn't go too in-depth into the rules. It's just what you need to play while you're playing it. I am very much looking forward to seeing the full rules for the game. I would like to see character creation. I would like to see like the different types of characters you could play beyond what's given to you in this box set. But the game itself, it's not interlock. Just throwing that out there right now. It's not even remotely close to interlock. This, if I really had to make a comparison, I'd say this is kind of a cross between Fate and Savage Worlds.
Well, so if we want to look at the system itself, right? So the system is a dice pool system.
Yeah.
Those who are unfamiliar with dice pool systems, basically your stats and skills will be a certain level or number, and you add each one of those numbers corresponds to a number of dice that you put in your dice pool. And depending upon the system, like other systems like this are Shadowrun and Vampire the Masquerade. You basically roll the amount of dice you have. Depending upon the system, will tell you what number on the dice you have to get to be able to consider a call or what's called a success. And then, depending upon the difficulty of the task you're trying to do, will determine, okay, you have to have X amount of successes. Some of the various systems, unlike this system, will modify that target number that you have to get on each die, which can be very confusing. Whereas this system is basically you either add or remove dice from that pool. So that's the general gist of how you complete tasks. So it is all D6s throughout all the tables you need to roll up on, and what dice you need to roll. So there's your level set.
Yeah. And like we said, it's a starter system, so we don't know what the final rule set is going to look like. I would assume it's going to be a little beefier than this, probably not too much, but we also assume it'll have character creation.
Yep. Well, so the right. So let's break it down into what the system book contains, right? So we're going into the system book. The system book basically is the guide of how to run the game. So it contains actions, the different types of actions you can perform, what constitutes a turn, right? So you get 2 actions and a movement per turn. Actions vary on what you can do. There's like social actions, infiltration actions, combat. So each one of them have different types of actions that you can use towards your 2 action limit. Once you get through, and of course, there is a difficulty value of how many successes you need on your dice pool to achieve success. And there's, of course, a static difficulty, which is just a flat number, versus a opposition roll, right? So the opposition roll is you're comparing how many successes your opponent gets versus how many successes you get. And then there's also there's a lot in this game.
There's
Mikio,
and there's a lot of really, really cool concepts.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the whole premise of the game is that, at least as far as the starter kit is concerned, is you play agents of a ninja clan whose mission is to basically patrol the multiverse in this game called the Mosaic. And look for demon / yokai incursions and disturbances in the Mosaic, in the worlds of this Mosaic. And I like that they call it breaches of the veil, and that's a pretty cool concept. The second thing I really liked about the basic premise is, or at least as far as the rules go, is after you die, if you die in combat or whatever, for a short period of time, you live as a wandering spirit, and you can't physically interact with anything, but you can still speak with and communicate with your team or other people if they are properly enabled. If they have spirit sight, which is this whole thing that some people have and some people don't. Anyway, those are really cool concepts, and I'm very much into those.
Yeah. Yeah, so this has a lot of Japanese influence.
It's very Japan
to the mythology of Japan. So let's get through all the books, right? So you have the system book, which contains all the rules on how to run things. One thing, and for a starter set, it has a lot of stuff where, I think even with this, so normally starter sets are like dumbed down rules. This is just, I find you could run this game for quite a while just using this rule set. I'm not going to go into all the details, but because there is a lot of stuff here, and I know we've done Chromebook 1 and took us 2 hours to get through, so there's a lot of stuff in here.
It's true.
So the
Rules wise, the only thing I think it's really missing is character creation.
well, hold on.
And if you want to
You haven't
play,
gotten to the one of the books. Maybe you didn't get this book, but in the PDF, there is a book for character creation.
maybe I didn't.
Maybe you didn't. Well, so the differences so far I'm seeing with the PDF and the box set is the PDFs do not have the cover art, which I was very kind of disappointed that there wasn't a
Yeah,
cover
that's a
art.
shame. These covers are badass.
I'm sure.
Overall, the art in these books is fantastic.
Yes.
And it's nice to see. It's nice to see both of the Pondsmith children, Cody and Dolan, working together on this.
Yep.
I love the legacy continuing.
Yeah. So the system rules, right, has how to do actions, how to do combat, and it also has like a rogue gallery at the end for various creatures and opponents that you could basically throw against the party.
Yeah, I've got the Rogues Gallery.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting how they present the Rogues Gallery is that it's basically showing all of these creatures in prison cells, which I found pretty interesting. I mean, it's kind of like this again. You're working for the agency, which is the Shadowscar agency, trying to defeat the yokai who have been released. Again, there's a lot of mythology here, Japanese mythology. If you know it's Japanese mythology, it's pretty cool.
From a world building perspective, all the monsters are everything is like almost exclusively Japanocentric. Although some of the worlds in the mosaic, like there's one based on like 1920 Chicago. There's one based on like it's like a futuristic cyberpunk world. There's Victorian England, and quite literally, it's these places. It's Victorian England. They talk about Queen Victoria and.
So Lord Jesus Crust, God, I love that handle.
That's a good one.
Yeah, says that they created character gen separate at PAX Unplug. They had physical copies there, and they went like hotcakes. So,
yeah, I bet
that's why there is that separation between why you're not seeing the character generation, but my PDF has it.
That makes perfect sense.
So I got my PDF from DriveThruRPG. And that is available for purchase at that location, and I'm sure the physical copy is at our Talsorian's website.
Yeah, I will definitely check that out because I want to read that bad.
Right. So we have the system book. The next book, at least according to the PDF, is the lore book.
Yeah, that's what I got. World Lore. It is a 28-page book. The paper they use for these books is really, really high quality. So they seem a little bit thicker than maybe they are. I don't know. But it's really high quality. Like each page is almost like cover quality. It's beautiful.
Right.
It holds the art like fantastically.
Yeah, and again, if you like anime, there is quite a few different different versions of anime art in here, which, you know, as an anime fan, you're probably gonna love this system, or at least the artwork in it.
I'm an anime fan. I'm an old school manga fan. I love this artwork. I love the idea behind this game. Like it's coming at this in a new direction.
Right.
Especially if you like anime, like I don't know, like Spriggan or what's the Takahashi one with the world tripping. Anyway, like you said, it's very anime influenced and anime centric, in a good way, not in a cheesy not in a bad way at all.
So
in a way that makes me want to play it. I mean,
so Lord Jesus Crust, again, love the handle. I don't know who you are, but I have a feeling you work for Artasaurian.
yeah, we're
who
getting
from
that.
Artasaurian is you are. I have some guesses. But anyways, they posted that the character creation rules are free separately as well. So you can get that.
I will definitely check that out as soon as the podcast is over.
So the lore book. So the lore book goes into the whole concept of what the world is, right? So what is this Shadow Scar agency? Why are you working for them? What are the different worlds that are known currently by the agency, where the agency is actually working? And kind of goes into the whole mythology that the game is based off of.
Yeah, it gives you the different clans that work within the Shadow Scar agency. It tells you what the enemy organization, which is kind of like a rogue agents. They're the Hollow Eye Syndicate. That's a cool fucking name. They talk about the yokai, which is the demons that are like moving in and taking everything over. It's some well thought out stuff. I very much am looking forward to this stuff being expanded on in future updates, because I'm positive this franchise is going to go for a while.
Right. Well, that's the goal, right? And I hope so.
That's
too.
absolutely the goal.
So, besides the clans that they talk about with the agency, it also gives one page of a description of the currently known worlds that a agent can go to, right? So, one is based off of, I'm assuming, feudal mythological Japan. Which is, and again, like I said, I am going to butcher these names. Nakatsukune.
Nakatsukumi. Sukuni.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. Which is the kind of Japanese mythological world. Then you have the Steel Court, which is a steampunk, for lack of a better word. In which England is of the ruler. And the one thing when going through these worlds, there's only one world that I wasn't sure what animes I could link to, but a lot of these you can definitely link to various anime genres that are out there and kind of pull the aesthetics from them. Like the Steel Court is a lot of Steam
That's
Boy.
your steampunk stuff, yeah.
Well, it's like Steam Boy. I would even go so far as Uzi Whatsy's Walking Castle.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the Miyazaki stuff is going to fall under here. Anything steampunk. I mean, it's Victorian England with giant robots.
Yep. Howl's Moving Castle. That's it. So
Howl's Moving Castle.
I haven't seen that movie in decades, so forgive me if my brain does not remember it. And that's what happens when you go old. You just start losing. Except for you and your comics. You got like a library of comics, history,
anime, world cinema.
Yeah.
I've wasted my life memorizing useless bullshit.
I don't know if it's wasted. I can call on you to be like, "What's that movie?" And you're like, "Oh, it's this, starring this person, and was directed by this person." Like, wow. Thank you, Google.
We've also got we've also got Fifth Street, which is your like 1920s
Gumshoe.
roaring 20s gumshoe noir gangster. Like this one is like the least anime inspired because there's just not a lot of. Oddly enough, there's not a lot of like
1950s
noir
or 1930s,
1920s
1920s,
anime based stuff out there. You don't see a lot of pulp anime. No, there's some.
Though
There's
you
some.
can definitely blend in Call of Cthulhu into this kind of genre, which is interesting because, you know, if you think about the mythos, they are yokai, right? It's just a different flavor. So
Absolutely.
you can definitely pull in and even you borrow various scenarios from Call of Cthulhu and introduce them into this game. So it's a nice little blend to help players transition into this game. You know, if you have players who love Call of Cthulhu and say, "Hey, I got a different blend of Call of Cthulhu," you can kind of introduce that, especially if if your gaming group was also anime fans.
Yeah. The other one is called Refuge. The other detailed world,
Which I'm digging.
which it's your cyberpunk. It takes place on an orbital platform. Because the world below it's all corrupted and fucked up.
Yeah. I just have some little nitpicking stuff with Refuge because they have lunar colonies. Since creating my High Rider campaign, I did research on like colonies in space and how they all work. And lunar colonies are difficult to create. In that, because of the microgravity that exists there, you would actually have to create some type of centrifuge for humans to exist. But again, humans could grow,
think
but
they're necessarily going for realism with this
I
system.
know. That's true. Yokai? What are you talking about? Yokai are all around us.
Yeah, we're talking like psychic ninjas and all sorts of stuff.
What, they don't exist? What are you talking about, man?
I mean,
prove to me that they don't exist.
I'm not even going there. The last little bits of the world lore book give you some detail, give you a little bit of detail on the yokai themselves, some various types, and how they interconnect. Man, like the other book, the art is just fantastic.
Right. The next section is at least in the PDF, they have the character sheets.
In the book set, that's what I've got. I've got very nicely presented 4-page
pre-gens,
folded, pre-generated characters. I could never ever bring myself to use these. I could never mark on them. I'll say that. I could never.
That's why you put them in a page holder, like the plastic page holder, and use grease markers.
Yeah, no, I'd have to do something like that, or make Xeroxes of them. Something. These are too pretty.
So the character sheets, because you didn't get the character creation, we can kind of use these to kind of like talk about a character sheet and the characters, right?
Yeah.
So from what I'm seeing is you have one page of kind of the background of a particular character, right?
Yeah. You got the front page which is the character image, and then a big thing of lore, and like a box full of like suggestions. If you like playing these kind of games, you'll like playing this character.
Yep. So then the second page is the actual character sheet, right? Which you have your name, your homeland, your clan, your wealth, rank, which I assume is, I don't know. I'm afraid I had to like whiz through the character generation for this. But basically you have rank, which is, I believe, similar. I don't know. I don't think it's class. So anyways, let me continue. Because there's some similarities I see with this game. I have not gone through all the characters. Lord Jesus.
Lord Jesus, my favorite character is Osamu Okada. I like the fact that he's faking his way through life. He's like, well, I couldn't get into the monastery, so I'm just going to fake it and just go gather knowledge. It's a cool concept. I like that.
Right. So the character.
I love the
yeah,
art.
go ahead.
I was just going to say, on all these character sheets, the art's all done by Dolan. I want to say the text is probably all by Cody. And I dig it. Like, these are good character portraits. Yeah.
So get into the character.
Definitely my favorite.
Right. You have rank, RP. Again, I don't know all these terms. I am a slow learner, so bear with me. Special senses. So I believe you can have based off of your homeland, your clan, and there are some other attributes you can have that give you special senses. Armor. So armor will reduce any damage you take. You have vitality, which is your hit points. So if you do take any damage, that's where you're going to start losing hit points. Kai reserve is Kai is kind of your magic points in which you can do some of your special abilities, which is the Mikyo. I think I'm saying that right. The double K you have to like do like
that's how I would pronounce it. Mikyo.
Well, there's like when you see a double letter in Japanese, you're supposed to like hesitate for a second. Again, it's been 10 years since I've taken Japanese, so. Anyways, Mikyo. Speed, most people are going to have 30 feet, and what you can do. And then and again, I'm reading it the Japanese way, which I think is what Cody's kind of ideas were. So the Japanese read right to left, well, up, down, right to left for a page. So all your main stuff is on the right, which is kind of opposite of what most Western people will look at. RP is requisition points. Requisition points are the items that you want. So it's kind of like the so RP is your kind of your money system. Thank you, Jesus. God, I love that name. So then you have your 3 abilities. So there's 3 abilities, which are mind, body, and spirit, which are 1 through 5 for your skill level. Skills and stats have a concept that's, to me, I don't know if Cody borrowed it from how Pathfinder 2nd Edition is. I'm sure Pathfinder 2nd Edition borrowed it from someone else. Maybe from Cody, I don't know, but there is kind of a tiered system in which you have trained, skilled, expert, or master for this particular system that dictates what number level you're at. I know other dice pool systems like Vampire the Masquerade have values 1 to 10 because it's a D10 system. Whereas this is your stats go from 1 to 5 and your skills go from 1 to 3. So you then choose what kind of level you are, and I will speak to the character creation, which you do not have, Derek. But basically,
Yeah, by all means.
yeah. So with the stats, you're given a certain amount of points that you can distribute between the 3 stats. For skills, you can choose 7 skills at 1 and 3 to 5 skills. Again, I'm just recalling this from memory. That are 2. I think it's 5. So 7 skills at 1, 5 skills at 2. The skills, there's 6 per stat. So similar to Interlock, right? So Interlock has governing stats to each skill. This is similar in that aspect, in which you have mind and there's skills associated with mind that combine to create your dice pool. So for example, if I want to make an awareness check, I have to look at my mind stat, what level that is for, who am I looking at? Carmen. She has a mind of 1. The skill is at a 1, so that means I have 2 dice that I have to roll, and depending upon the difficulty of the task, hopefully I have successes. So in order to have a success on your die roll is basically a 4 or higher. So it's a 50-50 chance per die that you get a success. Then the next section is the weaponry. I haven't studied all of the combat, but basically weapons is you have a combat stat which is based off of body. And then the weaponry damage is basically how many, I don't know if it's a dice pool value or if it's a straight up reduction of your vitality. I have a feeling it's just a strict point value, so you really don't roll damage. Yeah, it's a straight number. You don't roll damage, which makes play very quickly. Less dice rolling, which there is 2 schools of thought when it comes to the gaming tabletop. Dice, too much dice rolling versus getting into the goals. And then each weapon has certain traits. There is a reference sheet or an armory pamphlet. Do you have an armory pamphlet in your box set?
I do.
Yeah, so that tells you all the different traits. Do you want to talk about the next sections or what your interpretation of them are?
Well, before we get into that, in addition to the character sheets, I also got these really beautiful maps, battle maps, and I just wanted to mention those.
I did
they're
not
really cool.
get maps in the PDF.
Oh yeah, one of them's like a courtyard with like a giant dead centipede on it. Like a nightclub. It looks like a 20s style nightclub with a big dance floor and some casino action.
So I got a character generation. You didn't. You got maps.
Yeah.
I didn't. I got a fillable character sheet, which you didn't. Or did you get a blank character sheet?
I did not get a blank character sheet.
Yeah. Good.
There is 4 of these maps, and they're all double-sided. 2-page maps. And they're really pretty. I just want to share that a little bit before we get into the next book I have is the actual adventure itself. I do have the reference sheet and the armory, but they come after the adventure for some reason.
Yeah, and again, we're gonna have to admit that we did not read through the adventure.
No, mostly because we haven't figured out who's running it yet. If we're gonna do a live play, and one of us doesn't want to get spoiled on it.
Yeah. I see. So I'm just doing a high-level cursory through the adventure, and there is one page that has the battle maps. I'm not reading anything, but I see it as I'm scrolling through the various sections. Are the maps inside the book itself, or no? Are there maps there?
Let me take a look through it. Yeah, there are smaller versions of
Right.
the maps in the book.
Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing in the PDF.
Yeah. So you've got miniature versions of them. And if it's a PDF, you can just save it as an image and then blow it up as big as you need it.
Right. So Jesus, glad you're on the watching us. Appreciate it, man.
Very much.
Yeah. So he is a she or he. You're gonna have to correct me on that. They. Says that there is a giant book of Shadow Scar battle maps coming out from Lock Battle Maps. They had them at PAX Unplugged, and he has one sitting next to him. So cool.
Well, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that is beautiful. I need to head out. I'm gonna try to head to PAX Unplugged this year.
Yeah, apparently all the early stuff gets released at PAX. Like they get the sneak preview.
It depends, right? So they could also be at Gen Con. So those who are looking to be groupies of R. Talsorian, there's a limited amount of conventions that they do where usually you'll find Mike and Cody and pretty much the whole crew. The first one, of course, is Gen Con. Gen Con, they will always have it seems like they always have a booth there. God only knows. I can never speak truths for future dates, but they have been there for the past God knows how many decades. The other one is Gamma. Mike was actually part of Gamma, the committee there. So they, I believe, have been going to Gamma since the 80s. So that is another place there for those who want to know what Gamma is. Gamma is not a gaming convention. It is a retail convention, which means stores go to the convention to find out different trends, what companies are out there, have seminars to kind of help any new gaming stores that are trying to, work, and also networking. So it's more of a trade show than it is a gaming, and I don't believe there's any gaming there. So as a gamer, you'd probably be bored, though you would get to see upcoming stuff that a company might be providing, and also find out industry secrets before they're really announced publicly. So that is what Gamma is. The last gaming convention that seems like they are putting it on a permanent rotation so far is PAX Unplugged. So for the past few years, they have been having a booth there in which most of the R. Talsorian crew shows up. And PAX Unplugged is in Philadelphia. Gen Con is in Indianapolis. Gamma, I forget exactly where that is. Again, because it's not a gaming convention, I don't usually go. Now, Mike used to attend Total Confusion, which is based in Massachusetts. He probably went there for 3 to 5 years, in which I got to meet him. And I would say probably half of the crew was there. I remember Cody actually doing some demos of Witcher. So it's a little ways back, but I think that kind of fell off. Gamma is in Kentucky. Yeah, so Total Confusion, I think, fell off of their rotation because the other 3 conventions I talked about are for business, whereas TotalCon was kind of Mike's vacation to Gabe. Because that convention used to have like Frank Metzer and a few other people from the gaming industry. I know Frank stopped going, and I think Arneson was there as well, at least for a couple times. Showed up there, but again, these are old school gamers, so health and age prevents a lot of them from traveling too far.
By Grognards, for Grognards, starring Grognards.
My hope, and I had a kind of epiphany, now that CDPR is in Boston, I had an idea of like doing a Cyberpunk convention, but I don't know. I am by far means a person who does not know conventions. I know how to attend them. I don't know how to put them on. And I know they can be quite expensive. If you're
I used to work with comic book conventions in Kansas City, and they like the logistics of a convention are a nightmare.
Yeah. So I am one person. If I had fellow mind people to work it out, but my vision was to make a Cyberpunk convention to pull in all of the Pondsmith universe, as it were. So you would have like gaming, panels, media,
pretty niche,
anime, right? Yeah. So well,
I mean, if
you think about like World of Warcraft, right, in their convention. BlizzCon, right? Could CDPR host a convention? Sure. I think it would be Cyberpunk Witcher, right? Which our Talsorian does both, right? So it's kind of a win-win for tabletop, right? System.
Not to derail you, but I just realized. Did you, as part of the PDF, did you not get the little tokens? Because I got like 57.
Yes. So there is a 1-page PDF token pamphlet. So yes, let's get back.
It's like a cardboard, fold-out 2-page thing full of like punch-out tokens, and they're high quality. Like, they're thick.
Yes, so
I just wanted to mention that as part of the box set. That's really the last thing in the box set, other than like a pamphlet for Sirenscape.
Yeah.
But yeah, that brings us to the end of the box set itself.
Yeah. So there is a 1-page token in the system. It has a bunch of yokai. There's none of the characters tokens. There's 2 big models. But yeah. So yeah, that's it for the starter set. So what is your observation of
My impressions of Shadowscar are it's a really novel concept. The art is beautiful. It's fantastically presented. Like I said, it's in a lot of ways, it's what I always wished Rifts was. In terms of concept. I hate to make that comparison because, fuck Symbieta, fuck Palladium. But I very much love the concept of this game. I don't know about it being like, I don't know how much of later material is going to branch out into other worlds. From what I understand, it is. The fact that this is purely like ninja based and very Nippon centric. It feels a little bit limiting, but within the world it works. And I can see how most of the yokai could be translated into the cryptids of, European or American or South American or Australian cultures and whatnot. So it's not just Asian. Well, I mean, it's Asian, but it can be branched out to cover other things. It's so far with what's been presented, you can only play agents of the Shadowscar agency, which, I mean, I guess that's the whole premise of the game. But I would have liked to have seen an example of playable rules for the I forget what the name is now, the other agency or the rogue agents who decided to go off on their own. Like, I'd like to see those as playable characters, because in my head when I was reading this book, what I was thinking is,
Hollow Eye
man,
Syndicate.
Yeah, the Hollow Eye Syndicate. What I was thinking the whole time I was reading this is, man, this would be the perfect system to run Time Bandits with. And Time Bandits isn't anime related at all, but Jesus, this is like Time Bandits on paper as far as like the premise of the game. Or at least that's what I want to do with it. That's what I want to do with it, is I want to run Time Bandits with it. Yeah, I like it. I think it's presented beautifully. If you're looking for something different in a role-playing game, I highly recommend it. It's a pretty big leap from what we've come to expect from R. Talsorian in terms of rules and whatnot. But then again, so is Castle Falkenstein. So, yeah. How about you? What do you think?
So first off, I just want to get through the character creation. I know you didn't get a chance to look at it. I have. Character creation is pretty quick. Just give you kind of a high-level idea of what it is. The person will choose their homeland, which gives them unique abilities. There is a life path system in it, so you do get to roll on those wonderful life charts that R. Talsorian is well known for. There are several pages of it, so you can definitely get that. So the primary skills, they are untrained, trained, and skilled. So that's 1 through 3 points. The character sheet allows you to go up to 5. I think that is for more expanded rules. You get, for at least the starter set, you choose 1 at 3, 1 at 2, and 1 at 1 for your beginning stats. Skills, like I mentioned, you get 7 skills at 1 and 5 skills at 2. You also have quirks, so you can have up to 2 advantages, which give you different bonuses for different actions. If you take an advantage, you have to have a disadvantage, which I don't know about, right? I know other systems give you a set amount of points in which you can add and subtract points based on that. But again, this is a starter set, so I think they probably played a little simplistic. You then have your clans, which have techniques and mikyo. And those are basically special abilities that you get to choose. Each clan has a set of techniques and mikyo that you can choose from, so you can kind of customize what your flavor of person you want to play. So It gives you at least some customization. Again, this is just the starter set, so as Jesus has said, it is kind of a bit of a free download. On the actual character sheets, there is at the end one page that talks about how you can improve your agent. So after every session, at the end of each game session, you get 1 point to do improvements, whether it's a skill, whether it's improve your vitality, improve your Kai, improve your stats, learn a new technique, learn a new Mikyo. So there are ways in which you can advance. And the advancement system, experience system, whatever you want to call it, kind of reminds me of the Apocalypse system. So it's very simplistic. So if you ever played the Apocalypse system, they have like a chart, or your character sheet kind of tells you how you improve stats, which is very simplistic. It's not like, well, in order to get this skill level, you have to have times whatever to get up to that level.
Yeah, you're not going to get bogged down by.
So the system for improvement is pretty straightforward and quick to get done at the end of the session. You don't have to do any skill checks like Call of Cthulhu. You don't have to wait 8 weeks to do a training check like Traveler, or gain X amount of IP to improve a skill that you have with Cyberpunk, right? An interlock system. So just wanted to quickly talk about the character creation because I know you didn't get to see it. I will. I'm not going to forward you that. And
I'm already on Drive
publicly. Granted, it's already free, right? So I guess I can send you.
I'm already grabbing it as we speak.
Yeah. So my feedback on the system. So whenever anybody pauses, there's always like, so you didn't like it. No, I do like it. I do have some critiques on it. Not anything to draw necessarily that it is a bad system. Dice pools are fun. You get to roll a lot of dice, and who doesn't love rolling a bunch of dice, right? So that aspect kind of allows you to do that. Now, so it gives you the ability to roll a bunch of dice, but also make gameplay quick, right? Because you're really only rolling a bunch of dice to perform a task or an action, right? And to see success. You don't have to roll damage. You don't have to do any of that stuff. So it kind of provides you to move quickly through the game and kind of keep the game going, which is always good for a high-paced game. So I should say the concept I like because I'm a bit of a what is it called? A Nippon file. Basically a person who does like the Japanese culture. So it appeals to me. I don't know if it'll appeal to a wider audience who aren't into the Japanese culture, who haven't been, who don't know anime, who don't know all of that. So I think there is that kind of barrier that you're going to have with certain players, right? Because they've never been exposed to Japanese. And again, there is a heavy influence of Japanese, which means there's a lot of Japanese words. Though the language is very kind of easy, unlike other languages, right? Because it's how the Japanese language usually does is you have a consonant vowel, and you say those as little units like nakasukune, right? Which is kind of easy to pronounce, but because they can be very long, you can get very tongue-tied. at least for me. So I don't know how well that will be received by a larger audience, because of the way in which you pronounce things. And again, it all depends on the gamer. I have had players in which I try to name certain things based off of the language that has that background, and I've had quite a few players who are like, the what? What are you talking about? Because again, I'm trying to pronounce it, which, like I said, I get very tongue-tied very quickly. So it might be my fault that I'm confusing the players, but if I say, hey, this is, put it into instead of the, well, anyways, if I put it as the English words that I was originally looking up, they will always be, yes, there is a pronunciation guide in this set. However, like I said, when you're working with 8 syllables, which some of those words can be, if not more, you can get tongue-tied. So, at least from a Western point of view. Well, I shouldn't say necessarily a Western point of view, at least from an English-speaking point of view. I'm afraid we, in the United States, are not as cultured as a lot of other nations, I'm afraid. And I think that is one market that you have in the US who aren't familiar with anime. They're probably going to struggle with some of these words, right? So I think that's the drawback. However, the benefit of this is if you are an anime fan, there is a lot of resources that you can pull in, right, from various animes and replay those animes into your game, or even create scenarios based off of an anime you love, because there will be a world you can insert the players into and kind of play around with that.
I mean, and to be honest, being an anime fan is not required.
Right.
If you are, it'll just add your enjoyment of it. But as long as you can get behind the concept of ninjas and the multiverse, you're going to be okay, and you're going to enjoy this.
Read 9, there is kind of a 1940s, I think it's more 1920s, 1930s world.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
And I think you might have joined a little late, so that's called Fifth Street at the world. So Fifth Street, if you think about...
54th Street.
Well, is it? I thought it was Fifth Street. All right.
It might be. I've already put up the box.
So it's the 1920s, 1930s. And I think, and again, I could be wrong until we talk to Cody. With that type of world, you could pull in like Call of Cthulhu, right? And the mythos.
I mean, and it could be 40s. Like there's nothing setting it right. There's like no specific date. It's just very noir.
So the
cars look like the 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one image that they have of the world looks like it's the 20s. It could be the 40s. I mean, you definitely could play a 1940s World War II type of thing in which you bring in Hellboy, right? And that type of aesthetics, because it is yokai, spirits, aka demons, oni, bakemono.
You know what else this would be good to run? Seskorkowski's Hunenser series. Mm-hmm. This would be very good to run that.
Right.
Like a role-playing game based on that.
Yep. So my other critique on this is, it has a potential of various stories, but it also has a very entailed or narrow scope of what kind of stories you can create from your gaming table, right? So you are all age, and then I think you pointed to to this as well. You're all agents. You are all working towards defeating the yokai, right? So it kind of limits a GM versus like a fantasy setting like Dungeons and Dragons. There's a lot of different type of stories you can create in that system. Traveler, you can create, depending upon the worlds, but you can create quite a elaborate different type of scenarios within like the Traveler universe. Cyberpunk, it's kind of narrowed, but there gives you options to kind of create some very interesting places. There are no character classes
narrowed
in
by
the game.
setting. Yeah, Cyberpunk is just narrowed by setting. You can tell any story in Cyberpunk.
True, but I think I mean this game is to me a lot like Delta Green, right? You are part of an organization trying to defeat monsters. 100%. Versus with Cyberpunk, if I take the way Night City and that world, I could run a Cyberpunk using everything within the game to do another type of
Warehouse 13
Cyberpunk
game.
Yeah, you could, right? Yeah, that would work too. I mean, I've looking through the rules, I've had ideas of like how to integrate like a Cyberpunk thing, right? Where corporations have yokai infiltrating like Biotechnica and morphing the monsters, because I ran something kind of similar in which I put in Call of Cthulhu. So this could actually benefit from Night's Edge, right? From DreamPod 9.
Yeah.
AKA Giannis. Type of thing.
I mean, vampire, supernatural stuff, yeah.
So
this, in fact, could be, how players get transported from one place to the next.
Yep. So I think there is a lot of growth here, and my opinion is just based off of a starter set. I think Jesus mentioned that there is the concept that's coming out of Cody, who is looking to do kind of new worlds as either DLCs or fully published. I think DLCs are probably going to be, limited to maybe up to 12 pages versus a full supplement of a world, or New Clan as a published book. So, I see this as, a good growth. But like I said, there are some limitations on the kind of stories you can create, and I don't know if your players will get bored if you continue to run campaigns of you're an agent, you're doing the same thing, you're going off and fighting monsters, right? Or doing some other thing. Now, of course, it's the GM's responsibility to make any of those new and fresh. But, again, I see this as definitely a great kind of con experience. But yeah, it's just a personal critique of this. I don't think it's necessarily could happen, but we'll see how it goes. For a first new, fresh, self-published game system, I think Cody kind of hit it out of the park.
Yeah, I definitely see a lot of potential for this. I mean, I know it seems kind of limited, but I think with DLCs, I think with future products, they could really expand this a great deal, and it could be a long-lasting franchise.
Yep. Yeah, so I think this is we're about 20 minutes early. So yeah, so again, I would like to send thanks to Tabitha and all of our Talsorians for providing us this kind of glimpse into the system. I
You mean Terabella?
Terabella, is that her name? So, again, I'm
Yeah.
I'm not good with names, like I said, tongue tied.
Yeah, no, 100%. Thank you very much, Terabella Pondsmith. Thank you for reaching out to us.
I know that I think her name
You
was
are,
Tabitha.
I don't know. Maybe you've been watching Bewitched. Uh,
Probably.
we are honored that you reached out to us like this. I think Cody is. I think he's like Cybersmily said. I think Cody knocked it out of the park with this. I very much look forward to seeing what else is coming. Yeah. Go out and pick up Shadow Scar, people.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
Yep. So this is the starter set. We do not have the full set yet. So keep that in mind. This is us based off of just the starter set. And again, the starter set, you could run a lot of campaigns just with this starter set. So I'd like to see, the full fleshed out worlds, because I can just imagine how much more juiciness this game could potentially have. So, yeah, so that's it for us. I know we're a little early. We kind of went through a lot of the stuff. We kind of glossed over a lot of the entries. I mean, we could do, probably a session just on the system book alone within this set. Just because there's a lot of stuff, like I said, in this book, or in this starter set. Yeah, so anything else you want to add?
Not necessarily about Shadow Scar. We would just like to thank our Talsorian and the Pondsmiths for reaching out and letting us take a look at their game. We'd like to thank Cybernation Uncensored for hosting us. We'd like to thank all of you for tuning in with us.
Yeah, my thought goes off to Rob and Val. They had some
a little bit of
difficulties today, so here are my thoughts.
Yeah, hope everything.
Nothing too serious, everyone. Rob will be back, but some things happened, and so yeah.
Well, I mean, things have been pretty rough for him lately, regardless, and they're definitely in our thoughts. And keep looking for that silver lining, pals. I promise it's there somewhere.
Right. So, you can find me on cybersmily.net. I have some tools for Cyberpunk 2020 and Cyberpunk Red. So my site has been around for a little while. Check it out. Hopefully it'll help you. I know it's helped a few people. Still meaning to do some more stuff with that site, but just real life, and I think I game too much. So you can check me out there. I'm on various Reddits: Cyberpunk 2020, Cyberpunk Red, Cyberpunk Combat Zone, Cyberpunk Games, ton of different Reddits. I float about and post. You can also check me out on various Discords. I'm on Altarsorian's Discord, Cybernation Uncensored's Discord, Monster Fight Club Discord, my own Discord. I also lurk on various West March sites or Discords that are out there. So I am kind of all over the place. always lurking. Like I said earlier in the show, I joined Blue Sky to dip my toe back into social media. I hope I don't regret it. But you can check me out on Blue Sky, Cybersmily, without the without the last E, at bsky dot whatever. I forget what the terminology is. But if you do Cybersmily, I have a feeling that I am the only Cybersmily out there that you can follow. So, and I see quite a few of Cyberpunk people out there with it from our Talsorian, so they are posting there. So that's it from my side.
All right. I am the other host. I am Wisdom000. My name is Derek Bernier. I run Datafortress2020. I'm also on social media, at least on Facebook, where I am the owner of the Datafortress2020 Facebook group, and I'm an admin for both the Cyberpunk 2020 Facebook group and Cybernation Uncensored. I am on the various Cyberpunk Reddits where I lurk. I also lurk on a few of the Cyberpunk Discord channels. I'm on Blue Sky as well, although I don't know what I'm doing on it and don't know how to tell people how to find me quite yet. So I am at wisdom2020.bsky.social. So I don't know what I'm doing there. Good luck with that. I am not on Twitter or X or whatever the hell they want to call it. I am not on Instagram or anything else really. But please, by all means, use any of these methods, any of these venues that we are on to reach out to us. We love to hear your comments, suggestions, criticisms, complaints. And we just like talking Cyberpunk. We like talking our Talsorian. So by all means, reach out to us if you've got ideas for shows or a line on an interview. Someone we might want to interview, that would be awesome.
I'm trying to work on some of them. We do have a guest next month. So.
Yep. For this episode, I'd like to throw out a quick thank you to Lord Jesus Crust, who came in some of our questions about Shadowscar.
Yes,
we were kind of lost on some of it. I think our next show will be
April 1st or April 2nd?
No, April 2nd. April 2nd.
I will be back from Adepticon. So
okay, then it looks like the show can go on.
So I'm going to be on a 15-hour drive 2 days before. So
see
how that treats me. Yeah, we're driving out there. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, I love car trips.
Yeah.
I love a good road trip. But yeah, that's about it for this episode. Like I said, we'll see you on.
So if any of you are going out to Adepticon and playing in the Combat Zone tournament, by all means, I will try to wear my Cyberpunk shirt. Or sorry, Cybersmily shirt. Or actually, I should wear the Forlorn Dope shirt.
There you go. Even better.
Even better. There you go. All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you for watching and joining us tonight. For those who did join us.
Absolutely.
Again, we will be on in 2 weeks. Till then, have a good one.
Cybernation Uncensored.